Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Melvin, and today we'll be talking about Balika Vadhu. But before we get into the video, please subscribe to the channel for more content. And yeah, let's get into it. So Balika Vadhu is an Indian soap opera that has over 2,000 episodes. Okay, it was broadcast on Colors TV in India, and it ran between 2008 to 2016. Okay, so let's get into the plot. So Balika Vadhu translates into the child bride. Okay, so let's get into the plot. The show is set up in rural Rajasthan and depicts the practice of child marriage. Anandi is an 8-year-old girl who is married to Jagdish, only grandson of Kalyani Devi. Kalyani is an old widow with a very high regard for tradition, rituals, and superstition. She rules her household with an iron fist and controls every aspect of the lives of her family members, including her 2 sons. Now a married woman at a tender age, Anandi must accept and accustom herself to a new life to a new family of strangers and accept her role as a friend, lover, wife, and a daughter-in-law during childhood. As she grows up, Anandi falls in love with Jagdish and he considers her his friend and wife until he goes to the city for college and falls in love with his college mate Gauri. All hell breaks loose when he decides to divorce Anandi and marry Gauri. Okay, that is the overview of the soap opera. Can I just say, as I was researching this video, I found out that Balika Vadhu became a hot topic. It became a bit controversial because it was depicting the practice of child marriage within Indian society. Okay, so yeah, I mean, some people were saying that it was glorifying child marriages, and then some people were saying it was, interfering with tradition and depicting it in a bad light and all of that. So yeah, what I can say about this soap opera, I watched it from the beginning. I have not concluded it, so I do not know how it ends because I got tired somewhere along the way. Because you have to understand, these are 2,000 episodes. Okay, so yeah, it takes a lot for someone to sit through 2,000 episodes and watch 2,000 episodes. I mean, it's courageous. Anyway, my opinion on this show is it comes from a good place, right? It's sensitizing the masses on the disadvantages of child marriage. So many things can go wrong when a child, is put in the institution of marriage. This is what they're telling us. Anandi is married into that family. Her and Jagdish form a friendship, but then Jagdish becomes a different person because he goes to college, and his views on marriage, on family, and all of that, they start changing, and he falls in love with someone else from college. Anandi is left, at home being the wife, and then her life suddenly changes when Jagdish comes back, and he doesn't want her as a wife anymore because he understands, marriage is different, and they got married when he was 12 and she was 8. So you can only imagine, they almost have a siblinghood at this point, so. And then in that situation, we have Kalyani. She's such a control freak. The grandmother controls every aspect of their lives. So there is that to deal with as well. She's a big hindrance at times. She just wants things to be done in her way. Her way is the only way, and it is what it is. Whatever she says goes. Her word is law in that house. Her word is law in that family, and she has to get her way. And also, they depicted how it goes left for these young brides when the husbands die, and they're so young, and they're so, they're still child brides, and then some of these husbands die, so they become child widows again. So it really is, a negative practice, and I feel like it should not be happening at all anywhere in the world. And can I just commend the producers of this soap opera for creating this powerful tool to sensitize the masses. But then also, when something becomes long, and I keep saying this over and over again, it starts losing its authenticity. It starts losing its the original sentiments that they were trying to to put across. They just become diluted with all of the drama that they're putting in. And for 2000 episodes, and you're like, well, they were telling us the story of this child bride here. What is going on? Where did that story go? Where is Anandi right now, and all of that and all of that. So kinda you feel like the story becomes diluted as you go into the show, and you keep going and going and going, and you're like, we want the story of Anandi. That is what we signed up for, the story of the child bride. We want that. But then there is so much else going on, and sometimes you feel like Anandi's story takes a bit of a back seat in some instances. And for me, I'm not for that. But then if you watched it, you guys, I mean, tell me, how did you view this soap opera? No, let's have a discussion. Do you think this soap opera was something good, and the message that they were trying to pass across, or do you feel like they were somehow glorifying the practice of child marriage, or do you think they were condemning it? I mean, I feel like so many people were in the middle with this one. They didn't know if the show was condemning or the show was glorifying. I feel like at some point they were condemning child marriages, because there was a girl in this show. She was married as a child, and before she went to her husband's house, he was killed by bandits, and so she became a widow at a very young age. So yeah, there was that whole thing with that. So I feel that was them condemning child marriages at that point. But then, I don't know. I'm so confused with this one. But all I can say is it's a good watch if you really love soap operas, and if you really love Indian soap operas, and if you love long soap operas that are kind of never ending, then this one is for you. 2,200 plus episodes just there for you to watch. But for me, I feel like it was a bit too long for my liking. That is just my opinion. I loved the cinematography, loved the costumes, everything was done right to that degree, but I feel like it was too long for my liking. That is the only thing I can say. It was too long. We just needed like 300 episodes, get to the point, tell us the story of the child bride, and then you know what? Just be on your way. But then if you have 2,000 episodes, then and I'm going to say this again, the essence of the original story of the telenovela becomes distorted. There's so much else going on, and you're like, we came here to listen to the story of the child bride, but then what you're giving us is nonsense at this point. Anyway, if you watched the soap opera and if you enjoyed it, please tell me below what you loved about it. I loved Kalyani. She was a good villain. She was not all through a villain, but she had villain aspects to her, and I loved her. I loved her role. The actress did a phenomenal job, and the young Anandi also played the role well. Anyway, tell me what you loved about the show. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you soon. Ciao.